feeling really good today? Whenever they do the awards and they do the recognition, all I could think about is when I was sitting in rooms like this in the back of the room. I was sitting in the back of the room thinking to myself, could this be me on stage? And you know, a lot of times we're so hard with ourselves. I remember thinking to myself, well, I can never be like the people in front. Look at their suit. I can never be like the people in front of the room. Look at how they talk. I can never be in front of the room. I can't do this. You know, when I first started in this business, I signed up under 2 conditions. I said, I'll sign up. I never want to wear a suit. And I never want to talk in front of people. Here's what's crazy. My mentor said, yeah, no problem. You'll never have to wear a suit or talk in front of people. But he's smart. Look, there's a lot of, I'm going to start quick, you know, there's a lot of wisdom in that. Because sometimes we scare people away. Because we're telling them how they're going to get 100,000 customers when they're not sure how their mom is going to become a customer. So my first time training, or my first time speaking in public was really interesting. So I go do a meeting, I call my mentor and I tell him, look, are you coming to do this meeting? He says, yes. The day of, I'm at the people's house, there are 10 people there, and they say, is your mentor coming? I say, yeah, he's coming, you guys are gonna freak out. I call him, say, hey, are you coming? He's like, no, I can't come, you have to do it. I was like, that wasn't part of the deal. I said, okay, no problem. I do the meeting, I don't remember what I say. Then I talk to someone and I say, how was it? He says, well, it wasn't bad, but next time you do a meeting, don't hold a cup of water because there's water all over my floors. So I was like, man. You know, some of you have gone through this, you know, you finish a meeting, whether it's Zoom or whether it's face-to-face, you're driving home, you're going up to your room, and you're just like, man, can I do this? And what I realized is everyone can do this if you do this long enough. What I found is that so many of us are caught up in the results that we don't focus on the development and the journey of it. See, my son plays soccer, and when I ask Europeans or people in the academies about soccer in North America, and I ask them, like, what's the problem with North America? They say, the problem's very simple. I'm like, what is it? It's parents. They say they're so obsessed with immediate results that they don't let kids grow and develop. He says where we come from, so I have a friend, he coaches the Academy of Arsenal. And he says, we encourage mistakes. We encourage development. We do not care about the result. We care about the kid's development. So the last, I've been in this for 19 years. Last 19 years, I've been obsessed with understanding why some people become successful and other people don't. Because so many times the ones that I think are so talented, have all the potential, are the ones that don't make it, and the ones that have nothing seemingly going for them are the ones that make it. And the ones laughing are the SVPs because they remember what they looked like. So the question is, what are the ingredients that are going to help you become a leader? And I believe there's 4 things. 4 very simple things. And the first thing is you got to practice your craft. You got to practice your craft. So one of the things I love, my whole philosophy on network marketing is based off of sports. How many of you, by show of hands, know who Steph Curry is? Wow, it's a lot of people. So here's what's crazy. Steph Curry, listen to this carefully. Steph Curry shoots 500 shots a day when no one is watching. That's 3,500 a week, 14,000 shots a month, 168,000 shots a year. He's been playing for 15 years in the league, 2.5 million shots. That's not considering when he was shooting before he was in the league. Here's what's crazy. Right now, listen to this carefully, he's the all-time best shooter the NBA has ever had, and he's only made in the NBA 3,500 shots. So he's shot probably more than 3 million shots, and only 3,500 were ever seen. So you will get rewarded in public for what you do in private. Now, when you are in private, you're going to have to work. And in our business, we often confuse activity with productivity, activity with things that are actually are result, that will create results. So in my world, the only thing I think is important is how many presentations you're doing, how many people you're talking to that are actually not in ACN. Because some of us have become obsessed with spending hours talking to people that we've already convinced to get in the business. So what I like is that there's certain industries that adopt this philosophy. If you talk to somebody who's a pilot, you will say, how long have you been a pilot? And they won't say, oh, I've been a pilot for 10 years or 20 years. They'll say how many hours they've flown. Because they understand that everything else doesn't matter. So what's interesting is I do this exercise all the time with our group. Is I'll take the number one RD and I'll say, how many presentations did you do last month? And they'll give me a number. Then I'll take the number two and I'll say, how many presentations did you do last month? And surprisingly, number two will have done a little bit less than number one. Number three will have done a little bit less than number two. And number four will have done a little bit less. The discipline of just doing the work is so important. 10,000 hours. You gotta commit to doing it. Now, you could do this business in multiple ways. Some of us do this as a job. Some of us do it as a business. What's the difference? Some of us are just selling service, selling service, selling service, selling service, which is already better than traditional work for most people, but you're not utilizing leverage. The question is, if you want to build your freedom, you gotta be able to have other people do the business as well. So how much of your time is focused on helping other people develop their skills? How much of your time is spent coaching people? So I believe that coaching people well is about helping people recognize opportunities around them. So some of you might have heard this, the red car theory. What is the red car theory? Red car theory is if I ask you how many red cars did you see today, and you'll be like, I don't know, maybe a couple, I don't know. But what if this morning when you left the hotel, I said, I'll give you $50 for every red car you spot? Then you'll be walking around, you'll be like, red car, red car, red car, I'm about to get rich off of these SVPs. So one moment, change your focus, and now opportunity, 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 opportunity. all of us as top leaders in ACN, we recognize that you are walking past opportunities every single day, and our job is to teach you how to recognize those opportunities. Because some of you are like, oh my gosh, it's so hard to do the business, while you're getting a haircut and your barber doesn't even know about the business. Some of you are walking past opportunities all the time. So our job as leaders is to be able to teach and help people recognize those opportunities. And the last thing is we gotta be able to help people enjoy the journey. Look, this is gonna sound really weird, but I wasn't born with money. I just wasn't. And the friends I had weren't the best of, they didn't end up making the best choices in life. Let's just say that. So I get started in ACN, and most of the time I'm complaining about my situation. But I'm working hard, and I'm trying to get over the hump. Once I become an RD, an RVP, I start making more money than I've ever made in my life. I'm very happy. But it's a really weird feeling. I kind of start to miss the struggle. And I understand everyone that is in the struggle right now is like, I liked him, I don't like him anymore. But it's one of those weird things that when you're on the other side of money, you kind of remember when you didn't have any, and you're like, ah. And then if I ask the leader, I say, how many of you sometimes like you just go to the grocery store like, you know what, I'm eating ramen for dinner. That's it. Because you remember, it's like you remember how bad it was, but you remember that the fight was also so much fun. And some of you are right now in the fight, and you're not enjoying it. And what I want you to do is I want you to act every single day like it is a guarantee that you will become an SVP. Because if it is a guarantee, you will enjoy the struggle. And when I think about my story, and people ask me this all the time, what would you have done differently if you could go back? And the only thing I would have done differently is I would have enjoyed it more. Because the pain is temporary. And some of you every single day are acting like the pain is forever. But it's temporary. If you know it's temporary, then it's just about enjoying it and doing the work. So I tell my son, my son plays soccer, and I tell him, if you ask him, what's the most important thing in playing soccer, he'll say, having the right mindset. If you ask him, what do you have to do to become good? He'll say, 2-3 hours a day. If I practice 2-3 hours a day for 10 years, it's 10,000 hours. I become better than 99% of people. I didn't actively teach him that. It's just he's listening to me, his uncles in ACN, his people. So he understands it's 10,000 hours. What's interesting is that when he goes to practice, whether he has a good practice or a bad practice, I am happy. Because he is putting in the work. And it is irresponsible of us to think that every day is going to be a great day. Some of us are like, we want our business to be like, I found 2 people. They found 2 people. They found 2 people. And they found 2 people. And now I am wealthy. No success story is going to look like that. It is going to be messy. And you are going to have to step out of your comfort zone. So I remember a couple years ago, I was doing a leadership event, And I was with some people. I finished the event. I said, you gotta step out of your comfort zone. Somebody came to me and said, Matt, I have a great thing happening tomorrow, which will give you the opportunity to step out of your comfort zone. Like, what is it? He's like, skydiving. Look, buddy, you saw there was 100 people that need me alive. Why would I put my life in jeopardy? They need me. So then he starts going, Matthew, always talking about stepping out of his comfort zone, but he's not willing to do it. So I'm like, all right, what time? Just name the time, the place, I'll be there. So I go. Next morning I wake up, like, Mom, love you. Sis, bro, just saying, I love you. They're like, what's up? No, it's all good. Love you guys. I get there, for those of you that have done it, you'll understand. Like, you get there, there's all these like warnings, don't pass this area, warnings, we're not responsible for what happens. It's like, and like, it's so weird, we're all happy. Everybody's like, yeah, we're gonna do this. I'm like, look at the sign. It's like literally when you see a horror movie and people are two and they're like, oh, I'll go this way, you go this way. And everybody's like, no, don't do that. So I put my outfit on, I listen to the training they give you. I understand nothing. And then they're like, all right, you guys are ready. You walk a line, you get on a little plane with people you don't know, and then you're strapped onto someone you don't know. This person is supposed to have your back. So I get on the plane, we're going up. I'm like, whew. All right, I say, what's your name again? Like, you have kids, a wife, like, you know, are you guys in love still? You know, like, just want to make sure you're good. They open the window, and the sound, like they open the window and it's like, whoosh. And then there's the first guy's always an expert. He's like, all right guys, peace. And I'm like, where'd he go? So I'm like, all right. I go, okay, I got this. I get on the edge. You have to hold up top and they go 1, 2, 3. So I'm like, all right. 1, 2, 3, hold on for dear life. This guy's pushing me. He's like, we gotta go. I was like, I don't know you. So he's like, all right. We don't have to go. So I let go of the bar, pushes me. I start cursing like I could do something. There's nothing I could do. And I'm yelling, and I still remember, I think, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die. And then I remember this one thing in the training that was like, don't open your mouth. You're in free fall. So then I close my mouth. Goes like this, opens the parachute. Then we're floating. I'm like, wow, this is pretty nice. I see birds. And I'm like, bro, you're awesome. And I'm just floating in the air. And I'm enjoying this. And he's like, are you having fun? I'm like, this is amazing. Everybody needs to experience this. And we land, and he says, do you want to do it again? And I say, absolutely, I want to do it again. I said, this was one of the best experiences I've ever had. And here's what he says. He says, imagine if you didn't let me push you. Imagine if you don't let your sponsor push you in the business. Imagine if you don't let your sponsor push you to do a training, push you to do a presentation, push you to approach somebody. Imagine what you will not be able to experience if you don't let your sponsor push you. Thank you very much.